I'm Lucinda. I'm here to show you 15 Excel shortcuts. So if you're an Excel user, there's a must-see video for you. Let's start with shortcut number 1. Enjoy. I hope they're useful. So your first shortcut is to create a graph. You need data selected to create a graph, so let's do that first. Let's click on our first cell. Shortcut coming, Control, Shift, arrow key right, arrow key down. That's Control and Shift, and then the arrow key right and the arrow key down. And this selects your data really quickly. To create the graph, we press F11. On some laptops, that would be Function key and F11. And your chart sheet is created. Now that is a quick graph. So your second shortcut is how to highlight the top 10 data values in a data set. The first step is to select your first cell, Shift key down and select the last cell, up to conditional formatting, top bottom rules and top 10 items. You can see the top 10 values are now selected. We can change the ranking to the top 4 and we can change the colour to green fill. So as you can see, it's a very quick way of highlighting top values in a data set. The third shortcut is how to apply data bars to a set of data. If we highlight your set of data, Shift key down and then the last cell in the data set, conditional formatting, data bars, notice there are two types, gradient fill, which look like this, and solid fill, which look like this. And they're actually applying a graphic bar proportionate to the value in that data set. A very quick way of analysing data in Excel. Shortcut 4, I'll be showing you how to create quick totals and averages in a data set. First of all, highlight your data set. Top cell, Shift, bottom cell. You'll notice a button in the bottom right corner. It's the Quick Analysis button, available in Excel 2013 upwards. If you give that a click, you'll notice some quick techniques, one of them being totaling. And if I point to sum, you'll see at the bottom of my columns sum totals there. If I click, that would be applied. Averaging, if I click, the column averages are applied instantly. This is a very quick way of summing and averaging columns in Excel. If you want rows summed and averaged, you go back to the Quick Analysis button, back to totals, and the rows you'll find are with the yellow banner here rather than the blue banner along the bottom there. So if we come across to the row summations, you can see now on the screen above the row summations. If I click, they're applied and there are my row summations. As you can see, a quick way of analysing data using the Quick Analysis tools. Your fifth shortcut is about creating sparklines. Sparklines are mini cell-based graphs. Let me show you. I'm going to click into J4 first because my sparkline is going to look at this data on the left here. I'm going to press my Alt button, which brings up my key tips for Excel. You can see them on my ribbons now, the letters and the numbers on my quick access toolbar. If I press the N on my keyboard, it opens up my insert ribbon. If I press the SL command, it opens up my sparklines. So that was N for insert and SL for sparkline. The data range for my sparkline is going to be C4 to H4, that row of data. And my location for my graph, my sparkline, is J4. If I click on OK, my sparkline appears. And I can actually drag that sparkline down and make it relative to the other rows in my database. You can see the sparkline there. I can change the sparkline to a column. I can plot the high points and the low points, and I can change the colour. To remove the sparkline, I must select a sparkline, sparkline ribbon, clear the group of sparklines. And that's how we create sparklines on Excel. Very quick, very simple, and very effective. Shortcut 6 is how to create a quick pivot table. First of all, let's select our data. Select the first cell, Control and Shift is pressed, arrow key right, and then arrow key down all together, and that selects the entire data set. You'll notice in the bottom right corner there is a quick analysis button in Excel 2013 upwards. Give that a click and go straight to tables. You'll notice there are many types of pivot table being shown to you here. Click on the first pivot table and you have an instant pivot table on your screen. If you did need to add any objects to the pivot, I'm going to point to salesperson. I'm going to drag salesperson into my columns to create columns per salesperson. That is a quick pivot table. Shortcut 7 is about grouping and copying data across multiple sheets. To group the sheets, click on Sheet 1 tab, Shift key down, Sheet 4, the sheets are now grouped. You can see they're all white along the bottom there. Any information that I now type onto these sheets is copied across. As you can see, Sheet 2 now has that information, Sheet 3 and Sheet 4. So this is a very quick and efficient way of getting data across multiple sheets. In Shortcut 8, we're going to create an absolute cell reference. We're going to work out how much tax Angelo has to pay based on his gross. Equals gross pay times the tax rate. If we press the F4 button, this is the quick shortcut for creating an absolute reference or constant cell. Double click that down and each value relates back to cell G3 where the 50% is. Let's do it one more time. National insurance contributions based on gross pay times by the national insurance. Again, F4 is pressed to create the absolute cell reference or constant cell, and this can be double clicked down. Any changes in the absolute cells, as can be seen here, affects each column. A very quick way of creating an absolute cell reference with F4. Shortcut 9 is showing you how to create a drop-down list validation. First of all, we highlight the cells that are going to be validated. We press the Alt command on the keyboard, A for data ribbon, V for validation, and V for data validation. We're going to allow a list, and the source of our list is actually on another sheet. Here's my source here, the titles of my members of staff. And I now have a drop-down list which allows me to pick only from those entries. Shortcut 10 is showing you how to freeze panes. We'll be freezing these headings across the top here, so rows 5 and above. To do this nice and quickly, click into A6, Alt button is pressed down, W takes you to the View ribbon, F takes you to Freeze Panes, and F is Freeze Panes. And you'll now see a black line running between rows 5 and 6. If I scroll down, rows 5 and above stay in place. We call this freezing. If I unfreeze, so Alt, W for View ribbon, F for Freeze Panes, and you can see the F is now for Unfreeze Panes. And the freeze has gone. If I move my cursor across to F6, this means anything above row 6 will be frozen and anything to the left of column F will be frozen. Alt button pressed, W for the View ribbon, F for Freeze Panes, and F. And this time you can see the freeze line running between E and F column, and again between rows 5 and 6. If I scroll down, the headings stay in place on the top, and if I scroll right, the headings and data stay in place on the left. And that's how to quickly freeze panes. Shortcut 11 is how to split the window into 2 or 4 panels, so you can see different parts of the worksheet at different times. To split the window into 2 or 4 panels, we click on a cell, Alt button, W for the View ribbon, and you can see the freeze and the split together there, S for split, and there's our split window in 4. These splits can be moved, so they are flexible, so you can position them where you'd like them to go. And there's the horizontal split being moved there. And the reason for them is because we can then see different parts of the sheet like so at different times. They are also very simple to remove with a double click. So if I no longer want the horizontal split, I double click it, it disappears. If I don't want the vertical split anymore, double click it and it disappears. A very quick way of seeing different parts of your worksheet at different times. Shortcut 12 looks at creating your own custom fill lists, so you don't have to keep typing the same lists over and over again. Highlight your list that you want to create as a fill list, File, Backstage, Options and Advanced, and they're right at the bottom there, Edit Custom Fill Lists. And you're now going to import that list into Excel. Once imported, OK the dialog box there. If we open up a new sheet and start typing that list, with the fill cross, you'll find that that list will be remembered. How to create a custom fill list in Excel. Shortcut 13 is about using Flash Fill, a feature in Excel 2013 upwards. If you want to extract the initials from this members list on the left here, we click and type in the initials that we want, click underneath, Fill and Flash Fill, and the initials come down, Flash Fill 2. If we want to extract the city from the addresses here on the left, we would type in the city, click underneath, Fill and Flash Fill, and it extracts the city from each address. If we want to extract more data, such as initial, name, the amount of savings they may have, and when they joined the company, we can type the data that we would like Excel to copy, fill in D3, If we fill and flash fill, that data is copied, extracting the relevant data from the left. This is how to use flash fill. As you can see, it's a very quick way of getting the data that you need. In shortcut 14, we'll be creating an Excel table and highlighting duplicate data. To create an Excel table, select a cell in your table and press Ctrl T. Click on OK, and the Excel table has been created. Let's find if there's any duplicate data. If we highlight the top of your data set, Ctrl Shift arrow key down, we'll check for employee number duplicates here, home ribbon, conditional formatting, and duplicate values. We'll highlight them in red. You can now see there are duplicate values. In the last shortcut, shortcut 15, we'll be creating a table and removing any duplicate data. To create the Excel table, click on a cell in your table, Ctrl T, and OK to create the Excel table. Once this has been created, we come up to the Design ribbon for the Excel table, over to the left, and Remove Duplicates. Click on OK, and it tells us that there was one duplicate value found and removed, and 90 unique values remain.